good evening, those on Zoom and those one in the library of Prince Rupert Middle School. I'd like to first acknowledge that I sit here today on the territory of the Tsimshian speaking people, where I've actually had an honor pretty much my entire life to live, work, and raise my family. And it's been quite an educational experience living here. I've learned how to fish, hunt, pick berries, do all the wonderful things that bring me joy, brings my family joy. So anyway, I'd like to open the meeting with the adoption of the agenda. Can I have a motion, please? Oh, I think have an adoption of the agenda with a couple amendments. James?
Yes, I'll motion.
I thought you had an amendment.
No.
Oh, you don't? Okay. You have an
I have
amendment?
amendment. Can we move item 7.1 up on the agenda? We're just waiting for our KPMG auditors to join.
He's here.
He's here now?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'd like that, Madam Chair, if you can move it up.
We can do that first.
Can I have a motion for amendment of the agenda to move 7.1, the auditor report up to?
Mike?
1.1, there's 1.1.
Yep. Mike will make that motion.
Okay, Mike, trustee Pucci, second. Trustee Sancho, over here. Okay, and tonight we actually have a presentation from Miss Tillman and her students about the band trip. Welcome.
So I'll just tell you kind of what we did, and then they'll tell you what they liked about the trip. So 35 students and 5 chaperones went to Edmonton in May. We stayed.
I like that music. Bring it on.
It gets repetitive. We in Jasper and then explored downtown Jasper before going to Edmonton. We had a group dinner at the old spaghetti factory and then went to an organ concert at the Wind Spirit Theater. Students learned that the organ has 6,551 pipes and is the largest concert hall organ in Western Canada. Audience members were very impressed with how well behaved the students were, and we're happy to see patrons under the age of 60. Both the jazz and concert bands had workshops with Craig Brennan at Grant MacEwan University. We toured the Alberta legislature, where some students saw Danielle Smith walk by them with her dog. We went bowling and had a pizza party at Ed's Bowling in the West Edmonton Mall. We toured Elk Island National Park and saw 3 bison. Unfortunately, it was raining and not a great day to go on a hike. We visited Science World and explored their visiting dinosaur exhibit and had a lot of hands-on experiences with the science displays. And before leaving Edmonton, we of course had to visit the West Edmonton Mall, where students either spent time at Galaxyland or the water park and spent money in the stores. Students were great representatives of our school, city, and province. We received many compliments for their good behavior and politeness. So, I don't know, Mary, do you want to?
Come on, girls.
Yeah,
We also
Are you gonna have to take the lead on this? We're all family in this room. We're all family.
Not good at presenting.
That's okay. I'm not either. Just look at us like we have big clown faces on. Just tell us a little bit what you enjoy about your trip.
Start with your name and who you are, and then talk about what you like about your trip.
I'm Kai. I guess the trip was kind of fire. Yeah, I'm done. I'll think of more stuff.
And what instrument do you play?
Trumpet.
Nice, nice. Glad you didn't bring it.
What?
Well, I want to hear you. Moving on, young lady in blue. What did you enjoy about your trip?
I like
What instrument do you play on?
Something.
Wow, do you guys all play trumpet?
No.
Oh, and how long have you played?
2 years.
2 years?
Nice.
Okay, moving on, you guys are being too shy, I'll come back to you.
I'm Kaylee. I play saxophone, alto sax.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Nice.
Well, this year I don't play alto sax. I play bari sax. But I have to say my favorite part of the trip was just hanging out with my friends. Going to Niagara Falls was pretty great.
Well, we had that here yesterday, so you didn't really miss much yesterday.
But yeah, the trips were pretty great. Enjoyed them a lot. Unless it was my first Edmonton trip. That one was pretty rough. But
Did you find interchanging with the other students? How did you feel
Knew everybody.
yeah.
like through Zoom or Teams or something? Did you meet them prior to going?
No.
No?
This year's trip, we didn't go to a festival, we just went to workshops.
Okay, okay, that explains it.
My
Okay.
name's Ariana. I play the flute. I think my favorite part of the whole trip is that I made new friends or became better friends with them. The workshops were pretty awesome.
So in our day, we called it pen pal, we write letters back and forth,
Yeah.
but now you guys do this team and all those wonderful things, right? And keep in touch.
Normally we get together for the concert band and then we know each other from school. But yeah, it was
Got any other questions?
If I can, as a parent of
Oh,
band
of
students,
course, Ella.
I'm retired from the middle school, but I brought my daughter and I'm still apparently helping with fundraising for a little bit longer till somebody else steps in. But having watched my children go on band trips and having gone on a band trip in my own high school grades, it's very unique because the children get to be away from the school, all the cliques dissolve, they get to make friends that they aren't naturally friends with at school because you've got grade 8 and grade 6 all together. My daughter who graduated 2 years ago, when she went on the band trip, she became really good friends with somebody a grade younger than her that she didn't normally get to associate with. So it's good that way for community building.
Right?
As a parent of children in Prince Rupert, anytime there's an opportunity for our youth to explore somewhere outside of Prince Rupert, I highly advocate that, whether it's the heritage fairs or sporting events or drama fest or music. Our children need those opportunities because we are so isolated, and the music itself and the program that we have here is unique. We all say Miss Tillman's really good at what she does. In my pre-motherhood life, I was actually going to be a Miss Tillman, so I judge her from a different class. And I can say she does an excellent job with these kids and the opportunities that she provides them and advocates for them, not just as giving them the curriculum of the music, but her room is a safe space for many students to be able to go and just be themselves and be outside of everything else that they have to face with coming to school, because it is a stressful place, but music gives them the ability to self-regulate, decompress, and also have Ms. Tillman as obviously a mentor because she's their teacher, but when it's your band teacher, you're also a friend. And so even though I don't have a child that will ever come through this program again, I highly advocate for it.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
I totally 100% agree with you.
yeah, it's definitely nice when you have like a rock band at school or something, just go into the band room and just play an instrument. It just kind of takes your mind off of everything.
It really does.
Yeah.
Really, really does. Well, girls, and you, that won't talk to me.
Hey,
Wow.
We're
not allowed to
think
say
you're allowed
that.
to say that.
Nope.
Hey,
My apologies.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for
I
coming.
think it's the new label, so we'll let that one go. It was really nice that you came,
Yeah,
and
it
I'm
was.
happy that you
Thanks for
got to
coming.
experience such
And
a
sharing your-
full
being
5 days
Yeah.
of another culture, right?
Nice. You get a gold star. Stickers.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You want me to say about the trip that I proposed, or like, will you have any questions about that, or?
We'll
It's
figure it
within
out.
DC, right?
Yeah.
Yes, the board, so it's fine, like the board doesn't
Okay.
have to, like, but they will be speaking to it.
Okay.
We don't wanna keep you here all night.
We know where to find you.
Yeah, yeah.
Bye,
Thank
thank
you so
you,
much.
see you. Okay, moving on, I think we have Corey presenting on the finances. Corey?
Yeah.
Okay, with,
So I'm actually going to present first. My presentation is going to be focusing on the operating portion of the financial statements. And we also have Corey from KPMG with us today. He's here on behalf of Michaela, who sent her regrets for not being able to make it today. So just one moment, I will share my screen. So here's the agenda for my presentation today. First, we're going to be looking at schedule of operating operations, which is schedule 2 of your financial statement package. Then we'll go over the operating surplus, the operating revenues, the operating expenditures, the operating unrestricted surplus, and the operating internal restricted surplus. First, we're going to take a look at schedule 2, which is on page 28 of the financial statement package. Schedule 2 is the operating schedule. As you know, our main interest tends to be the operating budget because the special purpose funds are all designated funding and the capital funds are around depreciation. Operating fund is what impacts our actual reserves. I'm really happy with these results as we came in a slightly better surplus than expected and our expenditures were basically dead on. On this next slide, I zoomed in on the surplus section on the bottom of schedule 2. Overall, you can see that we have an operating surplus of 1.3 million. We budgeted for a 608,000 operating surplus, which would have actually been a deficit. However, as a reminder, we had the 1.055 million reimbursement for the new middle school. We actually ended up doing better than budgeted by 711,000. Next, let's look at the operating revenues. Operating revenues came out to 29.3 million and were budgeted at 28.8 million. This resulted in operating revenues coming out at 524,000 to the good. Some of the main reasons for these increases were due to investment income being higher due to receiving the funding for the new childcare and the higher interest rates received in the current year. We also had higher GST rebates, and also school generated funds was higher than expected. Also, some of the revenues related to our childcare programs were included in operating revenues rather than in special purpose revenues. As a side note for the board, I'm also looking into producing a new monthly financial report this year in which I would include revenues. Currently, we are only presenting the expenditures on the monthly financial report, but I think it'll be beneficial to also include revenues as we'll provide a more clear picture. Once I have it prepared, I'll bring this to the board to get your feedback. I'll also see if you'd like to eliminate the other report, the one that was previously the only report that was provided. I think that this new report will be more valuable, and we won't need that second report anymore. It's also sometimes difficult to do valuable analysis of 2 reports on a monthly basis in a timely manner. Next, we'll look at the operating expenses. Again, we were pretty happy with these results. As you can see, we were very close to budget for expenditures. We were 127,000 under budget, which is less than 0.5% of our overall budget. Now going back to operating surplus. Again, overall, you can see that we have an operating surplus of 1.3 million. Our operating surplus at the beginning of the year was 518,000, which then brings us to our operating surplus at the end of the year of 1.8 million. Our internally restricted surplus came to 364,000, and our unrestricted surplus came out to 1.472 million. On the next two slides, I'll go into further detail about the internally restricted and the unrestricted amounts. So on this slide, you can see that we broke up the new middle school reimbursement amount of 1.055 million, as it is a one-time reimbursement. And thank you to the board for suggesting this breakdown. This shows that our regular surplus went from 237,000 in the prior year to 417,000 in the current year. This is 1.4% of our operating budget. As a reminder, our board policy is to maintain 2 to 4% in our surplus. On this last slide, you can see the breakdown of the internally restricted surplus. This breakdown is provided in note 18 in the notes section in the financial statement package. You'll see that 60,000 is allocated to a deferred vehicle purchase. This was budgeted to be spent in the 23-24 year. However, it was delayed in order to receive a better price. This purchase will be included in the 24-25 year. And that wraps up my quick presentation. Thank you for your time, and just opening up for any questions.
James?
Brittany, can you please explain the differences between the budgeted and actual revenue lines for other revenue and for investment income?
So I can start with investment income. So the main reason for that is because we received a new childcare funding. So we received that money, which we were able to invest, and interest rates were higher this year. And then in regards to the other revenue, part of that is higher GST rebates. Another part of that was also higher school generated funds. And then another part of that also too was some of our grants that we received for our childcare programs was actually recorded in our operating rather than our special purpose.
And then also, please,
Go ahead.
can you please break down the unrestricted operating surplus by category?
I think that's this slide right here. So deferred vehicle purchase, that was the 60,000 that I spoke to. 194,000 is related to our school generated funds, and that's the operating portion. Just under 13,000 is related to the Indigenous education targeted funds. And the last item on this list is the Indigenous Education Language Authority funds.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
So I'll just want clarification because people on the Zoom may not quite understand this extra $1 million. So I just need it spelled out for people knowing that we actually don't have an extra $1 million. The $1 million is money from what we've already previously invested. So would you just give a little bit of an explanation because it wasn't quite what I think that people might understand.
Yep. So this new middle school reimbursement, we received a reimbursement in the current 24-25 year, or sorry, 23-24 year of $1,055,000. This is related to expenses that we've spent in prior years on our middle school. So previously, these expenses as they were incurred were charged to our operating expenses. So in the current year, when we received this reimbursement, we were able to credit back our operating expenses.
So it was out and it's back in. It's pretty much a wash. So just for those people listening in the audience or anywhere else for that matter, those monies are not there. Christine?
And I guess I just wanted to make sure that I'm understanding and that people are understanding. So we have the $1 million from the new middle school, which would be more of like one-offs, right? Because it's not money that we're going to be seeing every year. And then the 417,000 that we have, that is our unrestricted surplus. Again, from that, we had a lot of like investment stuff that, you know, that we're not going to see again. And getting the money from the daycare and then putting that into a fund where we're making interest, we're not going to see that again. So really, we can't rely on even the 417,000 as money that's going to continually come, because it's just not.
Yeah, that's
It's
correct.
great that we have it now, but just, it's not something that we can count on every year.
Thank you, Kirsty. Is there any other questions? I guess we can open it up for our auditor now.
Yeah, so I'll pass this on to Corey from KPMG. And he's gonna go over the audit report.
Great. Yeah, I don't intend to spend any time or put a presentation up. So we spent some time earlier today to go through the audit findings report and talk about the audit findings, and really here today to indicate that the audit went well, and we'd like to thank Brittany and the finance staff and team at School District 52 for all their help. And as auditors, we intend to issue a clean audit opinion on the financial statements, and the numbers that Brittany presented were straight from those financial statements. So happy to take any questions or comments for clarification, but yeah, that's all I'd like to say.
Is there anyone that would like to ask any questions? I know you had the chance earlier, but I mean, if there's some questions, let's be transparent and bring them forward from in camera to a regular. James, you had something?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, Corey, thank you for presenting to us. And I'm going through your report, and the earlier questions that I asked, you were very thorough with what you've done, and thank you for that.
Great.
And I'm glad that we look at based off what you've looked at, so that's good.
Great. Thank you.
Mike, anything from you?
Yeah, you know what? I'd just like to point out to everyone that the auditors presented the report, and it had very, very minor and very, very few suggestions as to ways that we can make a better package. So I'm quite happy with staff and how managing staff are able to provide and do our finances for us. So it was really a positive part to the report, was that there was very few and minor suggestions.
Thank you, Mike. Anyone else? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adopt the audited financial statement.
We'll make a motion.
Kirsty,
Second that.
James. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any further questions? Hearing none. All those opposed? I don't see anyone. Motion's carried. Thank you, Corey. We'll take you back. We'll let you go back to the soccer game.
Thanks, Corey.
Thanks. Yeah, it's almost pickup time now. Okay. Bye.
Bye. Okay. Well, that was quick and clean, and I hope everyone understands that it looks like we're really doing well on paper, but that's only on paper. So just be mindful that we have a school district to run, and it's all about the kids and how we spend our money, right? Thanks. Okay, moving on to approval of the minutes. Can I have a motion? James? Mike? All those in favor?
Yes. Aye.
Any questions, any concerns? Hearing none, carried. number 4, necessity of closed meeting agenda 4.1 through 4.9. Can I have a motion? James?
Mike second.
Louisa?
Yep.
Louisa got ahead of you.
No worries.
He's big on the draw tonight.
Yeah.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any question? Hearing none, carried. Oh, we have one correspondent addressed to the board. Letter from our minister Christine Sakura. James,
Receive and file, please.
seconder? Christine? All those in
I have
favor?
a question.
Oh,
If I can.
of course.
So it says that our fees for that geographical factors fund is going to be increasing, or that, Brittany, I don't know if this is a question for you, but, are we seeing a huge difference in that funding, or?
I think you mentioned this to us was it our last meeting? Something you were
Yeah, we mentioned
surprised
that.
of it, yes.
Yes, and next meeting, I think we'll probably have a
a
full
better
analysis.
picture? Okay, perfect, great, thank you.
Any other questions? All those in favor? Opposed?
Aye.
Hearing none, carried. Moving on. Okay, I see these are in block, so I'll entertain a motion. What say you, board? James?
521 through 525, to receive and file.
Have a seconder? Christie? Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Carried. 5.26, I think these ones are a bit different. Yes, James?
There's a few that have similarities, and so it may be best to go a little bit at a time, at
Okay,
least for a bit here.
okay,
So
5.26.
526, I'll receive and file,
Can I have a seconder?
and then
Christie?
we
Mike.
speak.
James, would like to speak to that, okay?
Yeah, this talks about funding, overall funding for education in BC comparative to the rest of Canada. Later in our session, in section 10.1, when we talk about going before the candidates that are in the election coming up, this should be a question going to them. And so I'll speak about that then. But definitely it's an issue, and we definitely suffer from lack of funding. And showing that we're not prepared to fund our students as well as other students in Canada should not be right. And so we need to press the powers that be on these matters. Thank you.
Any further questions? Comments? Hearing none, all in favor? Carried.
Aye.
5.2.7. James,
Receive and file on 527.
seconder, Christie,
We should speak as
you can
well.
speak to that.
So this letter talks about difficulties in getting K-12 workforce. Our biggest problem, of course, is having quality teachers in our classrooms, quality educators. We need to continue the work that this board has done. Also the work of the Rural Remote Network and the North Star Group in addressing the challenges we have in getting the qualified teachers that we need and getting teachers to be trained. There's several of these letters that address this issue. When we get down to them, we can just say repeat of that. And yeah, the board has been working hard, and on this issue, our staff has been working hard on this issue, and they regularly update us. And so I think I just need to acknowledge the work that still has to be done in this regard.
For sure.
A lot more, for sure.
Any other comments? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Moving on to 5.28, 5.2.8. Christie,
I request to receive and file.
seconder. James. And question? Nothing?
Just a response to the
Okay.
AGM.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Carried. 5.2.9.
Are we able to block?
We are. now.
Yeah,
We
I'm
are-
just waiting for James.
Yeah.
He's,
Which is what I'm gonna suggest.
okay,
Receive and file 529,
okay,
we can group them through to 18, 5.2918.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Didn't figure out where it was.
okay.
Yeah,
Seconder, Mike, you're seconding?
yes.
that? Okay.
And I do have some questions.
Questions?
And so we talk about human resource capacity in the north and the same issue, a bit inability to get people to work in our school system because of the lack of qualified people. We have 5293, which is early childhood educators and education assistants, very important people within our education system. And the lack of training and available to local people to get these positions, something again that our staff and board have been working on. And also the 5298, that's the Northern Teacher Bursary, which perhaps I can get staff to talk a little bit about. Maybe you can want to speak to that for us.
Yeah, Asia was actually on a call for the Northern Teacher Bursary Group today. Again, we were on last year, and it's a situation where student teachers are given money to come to northern districts and hopefully stay. And so we actually have two students here right now working with Sarah Johnson and Vanya Ling at Charles Hayes.
Nice.
And so they both were recipients of the Northern Bursary to come.
Nice.
And both of them have indicated they want to stay, so
Oh, that
we're
is
pretty
nice.
excited about
That
that.
is very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, anytime you can attract people and then show them what it's like to live and work in the north, that would be fantastic, and show the opportunities available to people, right? Thank you for that.
Madam Chair, may I just add to that?
Of course.
I'd like to highlight the work that Ms. Pond and the rest of the team have been working with UNBC and other post-secondary education groups to find unique ways to get the early childhood education programs going, and people being able to work and still get the certification. This has been very, very out of the box, very unique to our area. And it's something that's not getting the press I think that it deserves. And I think the public should be aware that we're not resting and waiting for things to happen. We are, the staff, I'll be honest, not we, it's the staff are working extremely hard at finding unique ways to fill the demand, and it's slowly working, and we're seeing that with, again, the positive numbers that we had through some of that revenue that we just commented about too. So thank you very much.
I agree 100% with that. I think that our staff is slight as we are in this district, work tirelessly to get to think outside the box. We are people, I think, in our community that are, a lot of us think outside the box, and we definitely have that in this district. That's one of our strengths. Everyone in this room deserves credit because I know how hard you guys work. So thank you for that. And I totally agree, Mike, that they don't get the traction that they deserve. They need, this district needs to be recognized with all the good things that we do. And being in a small community without really having proper media, because we don't have a lot of media coverage any longer, we've lost that. Makes it difficult, but thank you, every one of you sitting at this table, for all you do. And I feel privileged sitting at this table with the board and the staff here, so thank you. And on that, I don't want to cry because I get emotional on these things. That would be very professional. Hold on. Anyway, carrying on, Louisa.
Yeah, I was thinking, about myself. When I was in school, you know, we were in college, and at the same time, the teachers were encouraging us to get into teaching. And that's where I got, I decided, oh, well, and not only that, like sometimes after school or even during school, they would have an opportunity to talk to the students and say, how many of you would like to be a teacher, And that's the way it used to work for us. That's the way I came up. They said, okay, we're gonna we worked like, more or less like an EA. We'd go down into the kindergarten or the lower cases and lower classes and ask, sit with them, work things out. And then we started to get together after school and talk to them about what teaching is all about. And it worked, and I'm sure with all the different students that we have in our schools, I think it would be a good idea to just ask them if they're interested and just get a little group together like we usually do. Ask them if they're interested and then get some people who have the experience to go through with it with them, and not only that, start giving them the opportunity to go and take the courses and work, because it worked for us. I know that's how I got into teaching when I was teaching anyway, and it worked.
Thank you for that. Christy?
Just wanted to, just for people online, all of this block of letters are, letters from the BCSTA president, Caroline Brody. And she's writing these letters because the motion passed at our AGM. So, they're, topics and stuff that, as a group, the 60 boards of education came together and these were the things that we, wanted them to pursue. So I just wanted to put.
Thank you for that clarification.
That's excellent clarity. Thank you.
Is there anyone else that has anything to comment on? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Moving on, superintendent of schools report for board information.
Sorry,
Hold
we
on,
still have
hold on.
5.2.
Oh, sorry, I missed that one. I thought
There's a couple more.
one more to go. 5.2.10, letter from Farnsworth and
A
Sigmund.
motion to receive and file.
Seconder, James, would you like to speak to that motion?
No.
James, nothing? All those in favor? Carried.
Aye.
Moving on to superintendent of schools report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. 6.1.1 field trips. In your package, you will see a list of 10 field trips. As you know, normally the board meeting is a summation of the previous month. And of course, we have some of the field trips that you see are for June, but we also include some of the September and some of the future ones. So just for context.
Enrollment, I guess, Ms. Pong.
Yes, if I may, Madam Chair, stand upon.
So on page 108 of 174, our enrollment trends for last year. So that would be the green line on the chart. And you can see that we ended probably, I think it was about, I don't know, I didn't write this number down, but it was close to what we're at right now. And right now, today, September 24th, we're at 1,847 students. So you can see we trended up last year, which is a very good thing, and hopefully that will continue. Today's number though will change by September 30th, because on Friday, September 27th, actually, we do our 1701 count. So schools are reporting to me that there are some students that they still have not seen. And sometimes it could be that they're still on vacation, they just haven't been in school, but we cannot claim them if we have not seen them. So the number will be a little lower than that. We're still showing that we have 61% at this point of our students are Indigenous. So that's always an interesting piece as well.
Thank you. And I'm not sure who's 6.1.2. Ms. Collins?
Yeah, so I gave all of the trustees a big package of homework. And it is our annual enhancing student learning report. And so it's in a draft form, so it's not in the package because it's still a draft. But I wanted the board to have a chance to have a look at it.
Have a look at it.
And so,
Interesting.
yeah, and so the report is due to the ministry every September 30th. And it's based on our framework for enhancing student learning, or our FESL. And of course, the FESL is based on our strategic plan and the priorities in our strategic plan. And then the ministry provides us with a template of what they want us to show them in terms of how we engage and who we engage with in our school district throughout the year, and how we collaborate to look at the systems that we're using in our school district, and how we look at the data that supports how we're doing, how our students are doing with learning. So the purpose of FESL is to look at continuous improvement for student learning, and that's what we're always hoping for, is that we're improving. So the document that I passed out is a draft. We have a few final edits that we still need to do to it, but we do require that the board approves of it before we submit it to the ministry. So hopefully Friday it will be finalized and I can upload it to the Ministry of Education and Child
Do you need
Care.
a motion for this tonight then?
Yes,
Okay,
yeah,
Mike has a question for you.
Mhm.
We can take a pause and let, go ahead, Mike.
absolutely.
I'd actually just to address that, having read the draft report, for anyone that's concerned or questions really what the school system is doing in Prince Rupert, I strongly suggest that you, when it's available in after it's been submitted to the government, that you take, it will be posted by us, that you take some time and peruse it. It is an excellent document. I commented already to staff that I found it easy to read. It's not the shortest document, but it's very easy to read. It presents the issue and then how we're tackling the issue and or what our choices to tackle the issue are. And so to anyone that has concerns or that are wondering about what we actually do as far as a school system and how we take it down to this local level, this is a really important document, and one now I've read a couple times over the last few years of being a trustee, that it's something that I'm finding the really core to a communication piece that I don't think many people take the time to understand or jump into, because it is a bit daunting, but it's a very easy read. Thank you. I support and willing to make the motion to accept.
Well, James has a question and I don't think Sandy's finished, so James?
But you will have to finish first?
Yeah, no, I was just gonna ask if anyone had any questions.
No. So on reviewing this, well, I really like the fact that it looks like we're doing a way better job of looking at what we're doing.
Mm.
And then how we're going about to fix the issues, which I think we were doing before, but not so extensively written into the document. And also, showing how we're going to support our teachers and our educators in what we want them to be doing and how we want them to go about it. And so those parts combine back into the same thing and end up working in the correct direction of getting better outcomes for our students. So thank you very much for that.
And I agree with you. That's the core of it's what I find, like, when you break it all down, we don't just identify all the strengths we have a lot of weaknesses that need to be corrected. And that's without saying, but the document does highlight where we need to fix those and how we're trying to fix the problem, right? So that's, more so than anything, when I read this school district compared to other school districts, I see a lack of that in their documentation, I must say, where we're pretty transparent, especially as a school district, I think more so than a lot of school districts. We have our struggles, but we identify those struggles and we're trying to find ways to fix those struggles. So thank you. That was a lot of hard work, Sandy. And it's greatly appreciated because I know that it just didn't come together like in 2 days. So thank you for all your hard work on that. And thank you for identifying and looking at ways that we can fix the problems. We're not gonna fix them overnight, but we're going to work hard to overcome, right? Thank you. Can I have a motion to, accept?
I think we already have a motion.
No, we haven't. done it.
No, I did. I just made the offer too, so I'll make that motion.
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear you, Mike. Okay, so you're making that motion?
No worries. I only made the offer. If we were at that point. So, but
No, go
I'll
ahead.
make that motion now.
Can I have a
Thank you.
seconder, please?
Cheers. Yeah.
All those in favor? I should have said, is there any further
Aye.
comments? All those in favor, okay. Eric? And I guess we'll expect to see that once the amendments are done on the website within, like, after the 30th of September sometime. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, moving on, 6.1.3, upcoming projects, learning others.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll just make a comment about, the document goes on the website, but also, of course, it is filed with the ministry. The ministry has a team, comprised of, ministry people, including even secretary treasurers who, are on committees who will review our report. And they will provide a critique to us saying, compared to last year, you still haven't done this, or some sort of feedback for us, which is very, very useful, Madam Chair. And we do address those items and to try and, we say it's iterative. It's like we will not be satisfied until, we have everyone can read at grade level and everyone numeracy is at the top. We have a long way to go. So.
Well, we know that, but we're at least trying to work in the right direction. So thank you, Andrew.
Okay, other things, our schools, of course, our schools have reopened successfully. The maintenance department, IT staff worked throughout the summer to make sure that our schools were clean and also safe. There's a few projects that are left to tidy up, and I believe they're waiting for HVAC departments. Charles Hayes is not quite at capacity, but it's getting close. And all of our schools are pretty close to 90% capacity. Just thought I'd mention that.
Wow.
The student drumming group has started up again, and you may see them at some point this year at special events, and we think that's quite exciting. Certainly, if we have an opening of our new school, we this morning when we met with the architects and project managers with the Indigenous Education Council, Roberta had mentioned that they will very likely come to drum for any sort of opening. Tonight, of course, was the open house for the seismic upgrade to PRMS. It is not a new school. The school will be built, but the old school will be torn down. So we're not further ahead. We still have the same number of schools. And the ministry corrects us when we say the new school. It's not correct. It's a seismic upgrade. So I just thought I'd mention that while they're all downstairs meeting with the public. We're going to be enhancing our social media. There have been some complaints about the public not knowing about the event tonight. So we've already had our first meeting to talk about that, to send it out, announcements and project updates on our social media. There's going to be a lot of changes. They have to move sewer lines, they have to move water lines, hydroelectric lines, everything seems to have to be moved. So we want to keep the public informed of everything that's going on. So it'll be check our social media, which includes, we'll have our Twitter account up and running soon. We have, not Twitter, X account, but we also have Instagram, Facebook, and then our website. And we'll have more at the next meeting to share with you about that. Implementation Day was held last Friday. Implementation Day, for those of you who don't know, is the ministry requires us to have one day where we can all get together and talk about educational things. We had Desiree Marshall Pierce from Langara College, and they're both doctors, and Dr. Christine Ho Younghusband from UNBC.
Oh, Kristen.
We also had, in their presentation, it was excellent that Tom Curtis and Sarah Johnson shared their knowledge as well about, the topic was about assessment in learning. And it was very, very well received. And in the morning and then the afternoon, staff were back in their schools having more reflective conversations about what goes on in their particular school, whether it's elementary, middle, or the high school. Welcome to kindergarten, which is an orientation for kindergarten students. We used to do this near the end of the year. Now we're doing it early in the year. The purpose of this is to help reduce anxiety in students and make them feel welcome to come into our schools. It's a big thing for parents to come in with their children as well, because, you know, they're entrusting their children to us, and there's a lot of anxiety for parents as well. So it's a great way for them to come and share and look around. And so that was very successful. A lot of parents came, obviously, with their Ks to our schools. This is Truth and Reconciliation Week. There are many activities happening in all of our schools this week. Schools have also started with their Meet the Staff nights. In the olden days, we used to call it Meet the Teacher, but now it's Meet the Staff, because we have more than just teachers working in our school who make a difference in our students' lives. It's a great opportunity, get to know who's who, put a name to a face to a name, I mean. And it's also an opportunity not to talk about individual child, but it's a chance to set up an agreement or a meeting time to say, hey, can I come and tell you about what my son really likes or my daughter really likes for in books, selection of books, or in math, something. And so it's a wonderful event, and they're going on. I think we have 2 of them tomorrow night going on at elementaries. Roosevelt Park, Ecole Roosevelt Park Community School. They're doing a short walk in the gym tomorrow, and they're going to be learning about Carrie Fox, and then they'll have their meet the staff night tomorrow night. Many of our students and staff will be wearing orange t-shirts in recognition of Truth and Reconciliation. On Friday, also the staff in the board office will be wearing their orange shirts. We had an orientation session for all of our new staff last week, and that includes EAs, teachers, custodians, non-certs, bus drivers, etc., to just explain to them a little bit about what the philosophy is, how your strategic plan is structured, and how everything that you do, you know, it doesn't matter if you're a bus driver, a custodian, an EA, a teacher, a principal, a superintendent, every interaction you have with our students sets them up for either success or failure. If you yell at the child first thing in the morning when they're getting on the bus or something, chances are that's going to reflect all day for them. So everyone has a role to play in making our students feel safe and welcome. My last item, Madam Chair, is 6.1.3.1, which is before and after school care programs have seen an increase in enrollment this year. Conrad has 17 students, with 5 Lehane students being bused. Heinrich has 14 students enrolled, with 2 students being bused from Roosevelt. And planning and registration for next year is already starting, because we see the programs will continue to grow. And that is my report, Madam Chair.
That's very well-informed report. Thank you for that. Do we have any questions from the board? Christy?
Just one, for daycare before and after school, are there spaces available, or are they're totally done?
24 each. There are spaces available.
There are still spaces available.
Yeah.
And what's the age again?
In our school.
Oh, right.
And that's Conrad and Heinrich?
Yeah.
Yes, just the 2. I was thinking, yeah.
Correct.
Sorry, I was thinking Charles Hayes, because he said we're at capacity there too.
North and south, or as I'm often told, east and west.
East to west. So this, Just the two.
Yeah, just the
Any,
two. We're
so
working
any
on,
cross boundary?
many of them are.
Okay, well, I'm just wondering where we're going with that because we seem to go back and forth on that
Yeah.
little one. Okay, is there anything else?
That's it, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Moving along. Yeah, we're on. Oh, sorry. We've completed 7.1, so we do have one item on the Secretary Treasurer's report. Actually, we probably have more than that. Moving on to 7.2, I need a motion from the board, the executive compensation disclosure report. And that's due by the end of June, or probably end of September. Ending June 30th, but it ends on September to get to the ministry. Have a motion, James,
I'll make such motion.
Christie, okay, James and Christie. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed?
Aye.
Carried. All right, moving on to 7.3, August 2024 operations. Is there any questions on the report? I just like to make a comment as always. Awesome job. They just always amaze me how they can bring these old schools back to life and make them shine like a penny. Thank your staff. I really appreciate seeing how nice our schools look. Thank you, James. Actually, I think that if we're gonna talk about, is there any questions on that? James?
Yeah, it's just, we've had through the summer now, and the staff has worked to get the schools back up and running. And, I'd like to say thank you to them for their hard work that they do. They have a lot of things to do, lots of different things in the summer to catch up on when the students aren't around.
Awesome.
Thank you.
I'll pass that along.
Yeah.
So James, I think maybe this is in your neighborhood, the 7.3.1 seismic upgrade for PRS. I mean, we heard from why we need to call it that. Is there anything that you can like elaborate on or?
Yep, that's the primary driver. So there's different funding pots to replace schools. Like there's actually a school replacement program. There's also a seismic replacement program. So school replacement, you get a completely new school, new field. Seismic replacement, you either get an upgraded building or you get a new school built out of that funding pot. So typically seismic replaces don't include a field and the other things you would find in your new school. So they're technically less expensive and there's less funding in a seismic replacement, but in our situation, it may not be that case because we live north. So there's more funding because of the seismic replacement.
So I'm just gonna ask a question. And so when I was downstairs at the public forum tonight, three people actually approached me and asked, if public could put input in what the school looks like. And I really couldn't answer that question. I said something that might be addressed through the next, public, viewing. I don't know. I mean, we know that the school is not being being built on our property, but it's the provincial government who's mandated how the structure is gonna look and how much it's gonna cost. So is there something that the public has a way of inputting?
Absolutely, yes. The public can always respond. Like we have a survey online that actually gives you different questions that you can answer, and there's a comment section on there as well too. So anybody in the public is welcome to comment. Doesn't mean that your suggestion will make it into the school, but everything is considered. So we do have various working groups that we're doing right now. Public info sessions are the best place that public can come to speak to us in person and make the recommendations. There's always little comment cards that people can fill out and leave with us as well too. And we receive every comment and everything gets considered. And for sure. Yeah.
Well, that's good to know, because like I said, I really didn't want to speak on your turf, basically what's what, but I think it's important if people do have concerns and that they get to at least try to express, their feelings. I know that the school's pretty much there. It's going to be built the way it's gonna be built, but it's always nice to hear what people do have to say, right?
Absolutely. We value everyone's input.
This is their community and they should have input.
And we want the school to reflect the community as well too. So the more input we get, the better.
That's right. Thank you, James. Do we have any other questions for James? Go ahead, James. James to James.
You talked about the way the public can comment online. How do they find that?
So you go to Rupert Schools and you look at, you'll see PRMS replacement project. So because we know that the seismic replacement is confusing to a lot of the public, we've actually just named it Prince Rupert Middle School Replacement Project. Even though it's funded from the seismic pot of money, then it's still, we call it the Prince Rupert Replacement Project.
And if they click on that, that brings them to somewhere they can make comment.
Yes, we're actually rebuilding the website right now, so it's not as full as it was before. And so when it does get rebuilt, it'll eventually have the questionnaire right away, and then it'll have all the information with all the public info sessions that have been done to date, as well as all the latest graphics and stuff like that that we're allowed to present to the public. So
thank you.
Just for everyone's knowledge as well too, we haven't done the full complete design for the building yet. We're only at schematic design stage. Essentially, we have the foundation footprint complete. We know that that's the shape of the school now. What's inside can shift slightly, like we're going to be drilling down all the last details on the walls, and then specifically what's inside the classroom in the next few months.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions for James? Okay, hearing none, moving on. Committee reports, finance and building. Christie, please.
No, I believe there's nothing that came out of the finance.
Oh, sorry. Brittany's, good thing she's next to me. I missed one. Oh, the IT department reports. You have to forgive me. I pull my glasses off. I can't see this agenda that well. My glasses need to be changed out. August 2024 information. Is there anything to comment on? Anyone? James?
Yeah, so as with the staff that works on the schools, on our IT, they also work through while the students aren't here. And thank you to the IT department for the work you guys do to get the schools ready for the students for the upcoming school year. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim,
Thank you.
and all the teams, and
Yes.
I'll pass along with the team.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Madam Chair, if I may,
Of course.
in the report, it says Pine Ridge carts.
Mhm.
I believe Pine Ridge students would be offended. I'll speak with them after the meeting.
We all make mistakes. We cannot be perfect like our superintendent. Okay, now can I? Committee reports, finance and building, nothing.
Nothing.
We've already addressed it. Framework for enhancing student learning,
Not met.
nothing, not met. Provincial council,
Upcoming meeting next is in October 25th, 26th.
okay. Indigenous Education Committee,
We have not met. Madam Chair.
yeah. Policy Committee,
Yeah.
September, policies for approval. Have we had any feedback on the policies for approval?
So the committee recommends.
You're making a motion?
No, committee recommends approval of these three policies: 1390, 3530, 3520.
So you're making a motion.
So then I will make a motion that they be approved.
I need a seconder.
I'll be the seconder, Mike.
Thank you. Any comments? Any comments on that, Mr. James?
No,
Yeah.
Any further comments? Hearing none?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carry.
and then the committee also recommends that the policy 1410 is sent for review.
Seconder?
Pucci?
No, Louisa beat you. Mike,
Okay.
she's on the draw tonight, that
I
woman.
know, geez.
Any comments on that? Any comments on that, policy?
No.
Nothing? Okay. No one? All in favor? Carried. District Technology Steering Committee,
No, nothing has happened yet.
okay, any old business, nothing? New business? Invitation to hear candidates platform on education discussion. James?
So as I mentioned earlier, we are heavily low funded in education comparative to the rest of Canada. And it's up to politicians to make such funding. And so to get the funding, we need to stress on them. So I would ask that the board send someone to the candidates forum to ask questions. And BCSDA has supplied us a list of questions to ask if they wish.
Oh. I guess I'm gonna ask a question because of the all candidates forum sometimes doesn't allow us, they have a
No.
set there, are they allowing questions at this forum?
We should go and
I
ask
think so.
anyways, and regardless of that though, we could also ask the candidates that they meet with us, should the board wish that as well.
I thought, do you wanna speak on that, Kirsty, or you want me to? Go ahead.
It doesn't matter. I think, there was talk about having the candidates come to possibly our next board meeting. To me, that makes for a long board meeting when I can go to the forum tomorrow. I do, however, want to hear their answers to the questions that BCSTA, and that we want to ask. We want more funding. You know, they promised us this new funding model that's been flushed down the toilet since COVID.
Way before COVID.
Yeah, and so, if one of us is attending the forum tomorrow, that would be a
When's
great
that?
place.
Where?
Tomorrow at the Lester Center.
What time?
6:30 or
6:37.
7. And even if we're not, so, I mean, we could ask that question individually at the forum. However, I think it would be great to send those questions to them so that they can answer, and then we can put it in a package so that the public can see their answers as well.
Good idea.
And I agree with you. I don't agree that we bring the candidates to our board meeting. I think the issue that we need to address, I don't want to be, I want to be nonpartisan. I want to address the one main issue. Okay, I want to address the one main issue, education. I don't want to hear about healthcare. I don't want to hear about, the drug addiction. I don't want to hear about transit. I want to hear what they're going to do for rural communities in the north. And not just in the north, but rural communities everywhere, because we need to know, how we support children in need, how we support education with the same funding formula that they given to urban centers. We have, so over 60% of our students are Indigenous. We have poverty in our community. We have, children with special needs, and we need to address that. So I suggest, as the rest of you, I would particularly like to see some, I'm traveling to Stewart, as you know, tomorrow, so I can't go, and that really doesn't sit well with me. I really wanted to go and hear what the candidates had to say about education. So I think that, James, if, you know, 1, 2 of us want to go, and if the questions aren't answered there, then I think we should send the questions to both candidates and see what their stance is on how they're gonna support education in the north. So if I can't really allow you to talk. At
Yeah,
question period, I
soon.
can, in a few minutes.
I think we should send the questions anyway,
I got
regardless
you.
if somebody's.
You're
going
right,
tomorrow.
absolutely.
Let's
So I'd like a
get an
motion
answer.
for that. I'd like a motion to
Yep.
send, okay,
Make such
James,
motions.
seconder, Mike?
Mike, yep.
No, I said Mike. Do you want to talk, Mike, please?
Yeah, I'm in favor of what we're saying here, and irregardless of what happens at the forum, I strongly believe we should submit in writing the questions we want answered, that will then be responded to in writing, in which then we have a statement from those individuals, and we can, and I forgive me in my lack of confidence in how the parties will deal with us, but we will have statements that we can call upon in the future that may support stronger conversations.
Yeah. Exactly. Thank you, Mike. Is there any other comments? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Information items, National Day of Truth and Reconciliation is on September 30th, and like Andrew said, people will be probably wearing their orange t-shirts tomorrow and Friday.
Friday.
Oh, no, Thursday and Friday.
Wait a week,
Yeah,
show your
well,
support.
of course. Thanksgiving Day falls on, I can't believe we're at Thanksgiving already, October 14th. Isn't that, this blows my mind. Board of Education meeting is scheduled for the 15th of October. And now we have a 10-minute question and answer period. And I will entertain questions from the audience only pertaining to this agenda. So thank you. Yes,
Okay, so 2 questions or comments.
okay.
One, as much as I like to come out to Prince Rupert, I'm here every quarter. So my name's Hamid, for those that are looking at
Is
Zoom.
it Hamid?
Hamid,
Okay.
with IOE Local 82.
Okay.
So the first comment, and I'll just go with the most recent thing, having the candidates here, I think is probably your best bet. You have their individual attention focused on your issues. Waiting to have it addressed tomorrow with everything else that has to get addressed, you don't get their attention. I think bringing them in here, getting them together, regardless of how long it takes, gets your message across to them more efficiently.
Thank you.
Just my 2 cents.
Thank you.
The second question or comment is now, and again, food for thought. The budget that was, or the numbers that were presented shows that the school district is in the black to a certain degree, right? How would you think if you were to gauge or solicit your members, being teachers, EAs, library assistants, maintenance staff, all the people that work for the school district, on their morale? Where do you think that would land? Because at the end of the day, I appreciate all the efforts that I've seen happen by the school district, but you're asking the people to do the same thing over and over and over and over. They're beaten up and they are beaten down. And that aspect needs to be looked at. And again, just food for thought in terms of maybe some type of a survey of their thoughts on how things are progressing, and if they had suggestions, what it would be.
And I don't usually speak out of turn, and I totally agree with you. I do surveys, like we do at my job, and that's the only way we can gauge how people feel and how we can improve our environment at the workplace. So I don't know, but I suggest that would be something that the board entertain in the future, because I think it plays a big role in education, in the fact that those are the people who are supporting our children. And if they're in a healthy mindset and they're healthy, physically and mentally, that improves the people that they're supporting. So I don't disagree with a survey.
Madam Chair, thanks. Yeah, it's an important thing to survey our staff, and I mean, we do meet with our administrators frequently, and we hear from them, but also something that we'll present at the next board meeting in October is the exit surveys. Because anytime a teacher leaves or a staff member leaves, you know, if it's voluntary, they can tell us, or they can say, go away. But, this past group that left, we have a lot of information from them. We're just putting it all together, and we can't share some of the stuff with the board members, but we do share a summary of their comments, and so that we are getting some feedback. But I agree, we should.
And I think the exit interviews are a good idea, because right now you are challenged with not just retaining, but also attracting.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. They're more than welcome comments, and I think our board always welcomes like the engagement from the unions, because it makes us stronger advocates for the people that work for us. So thank you. For any other comments? Any other comments from the people on Zoom? Quiet crowd tonight. Going once? Going twice? 3 times? We're sold. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Cheers.
Cheers, see you.
See you, Jerry.